Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, first of all, Merry Christmas Eve to all you guys out there. Hope you guys have a great one. Second of all, got my hair cut, so I feel like I can take on the world right now. And third of all, shout out to Greg Olson, first tight end in NFL history to get 1,000 yards 3 straight seasons. Big stuff going on for Greg Olson. Panthers not doing so good, but good accomplishment. Anyway, to the boxing talk. We have, last night we had Artur Beterbiev. He fought in Canada at the Lightheavyweight Casino in Quebec, and he fought Israel Prieto, or I don't know his name, but he fought this guy, Prieto, who's, a guy that has only had a one step-up fight in his career. He went 12 rounds with Eliader Alvarez, so that was really the only fight most people knew could really judge Prieto off of, because most other guys would just kind of stay busy fights, kind of fights that come up. So Artur Beterbiev was fighting a guy that one of the top level light heavyweights fought, that he can kind of measure himself up against. And Prieto was able to take Alvarez all 12 rounds. And last night you saw Beterbiev, he flattened Prieto, and he became the first guy to not just beat him but knock him out. So it's always premature when a guy has 11 fights, but look, you gotta look at Beterbiev's resume so far. I mean, I know it's not gonna ooze of big names, but let's look at it like this. In his 6th professional fight, he fought Tavares Cloud. Yes, it was Tavares Cloud coming off 2 losses, but Tavares Cloud still a name, still someone that if you're not the real deal as a prospect can beat you. And he made easy work at Tavares Cloud. And then in his next fight, which is probably the fight that put him on the map for some people, was the fight with Jeff Page Jr., who was also at the time undefeated. And if you guys can go back and you can go read articles and look at the comment sections, a lot of people were picking Jeff Page to beat Artur Beterbiev, and he was able to go in there and flatten Page in 2 rounds. So there was that. Then there was the Gabriel Campillo fight, another guy that Kovalev and other top light heavyweights have fought, flattened him, knocked him out in the early stages of the fight. I think it was like the 3rd round. It was the 4th round, my bad. It's 4th round. So what I'm saying is this, obviously you look at Beterbiev, look at what he can do in the ring. One thing that stands out about him is like he throws really short, compact punches. So that's whether he's outside or inside, he's always going to be able to hit you because his punches are always short and to the point. Kind of like Kovalev, but he has a little bit more speed on him and a little bit more foot speed than Kovalev. And we know that Beterbiev beat Kovalev twice in the amateurs. So my question is this. Do you guys think that Beterbiev is like the next big thing at light heavyweight? Now, I can't really say. I mean, while he has put together for 11 fights, a solid resume, he's still a lot there to be determined. I would like to see him at some point, take on a top level guy, maybe a Barrera who just won. That would be a good one because we counted a lot of us, myself included, counted out Barrera against Shabransky. He went in there and dominated Shabransky. And yeah, so Beterbiev, I look at him, I look at what he brings to the table. He keeps his body in great shape. He trains really well. He's someone that moves around the ring really well. I would say, because a lot of people always want to compare him to Kovalev because he's Russian. He was like a top level guy. He beat Kovalev twice in the amateurs, and foot speed's really on point. Someone who throws a lot of short punches and has more so than Kovalev. Kovalev has power, no doubt about it, but I feel like Beterbiev has just a little bit more one-punch knockout power than Kovalev. And right now you're looking at his first 11 fights, he stopped everybody they put in front of him, and they haven't all been cans. A lot of those guys were not cans. You go look at Kovalev's first 11 fights, and they weren't necessarily against guys of the level Beterbiev was fighting, and I'm not really sure. Did he stop everybody in his first 11 fights? No, he fought Darnell Boone in his 10th fight, so he didn't stop Darnell Boone. That fight was a close fight, and that was a split decision. So, with that being said, Beterbiev is one of those guys. He's coming up really fast. He's someone who has an incredible amateur pedigree. One of the better amateurs to come out of Russia in quite some time. You look at the light heavyweight division now. You have the Kovalevs of the world, the Wards of the world, and I'll say it like this. Ward. I gave Ward a lot of flack for basically saying he's gonna retire. If he was to ever step in the ring and beat Beterbiev, I even made the video about it with Travis Gotti. You guys can go look back at it. I said it back in September. If he's able to beat Beterbiev or Adonis Stevenson, as much as I don't like Ward, I'd probably have to bump him up to pound for pound number 1. And right now, my TSS pound for pound list, he's number 10. So right now, he should fight Beterbiev at some point if he wants to prove himself even more at light heavyweight. But aside from that, you look at the rankings at 175. He's currently ranked fifth by Ring Magazine, and there's some notable names for him. Like I mentioned, Barrera. There's Elliot or Alvarez. Nathan Cleverly's another guy who's been experienced, been in there with some top names. So I feel like within these next 3 to 4 fights, we're going to see Beterbiev really take some steps up in class, and you're going to see a guy that has the potential to take over this division. I mean, there aren't many guys that I would pick against Kovalev. Obviously, I'm not going to pick Beterbiev against Kovalev right now, but maybe 6 fights from now, depending on how he looks, I might be tempted to favor him over Kovalev. He's that good, and there's very few people in boxing whose opinions I respect, honestly, because a lot of people's opinions are clouded with over biasness, and most people just don't know about boxing. But one guy whose opinion I do trust, and I'm friends with him on Facebook, but I don't talk to him that much. Shout out to John the Iceman Scully. He used to fight back in the day. He fought Michael Nunn way back when. But he works with Beterbiev, and he said nothing but he's giving this guy nothing but high praise, and I really don't hear him give 20 fighters high praise. So once I hear John the Iceman Scully give a fighter high praise and say that this guy is the real deal and he's the truth, aside from what I see and can judge myself, that gives a little more credence to Beterbiev and who he is as a fighter. So last night he stopped Prieto, did way better against him than Alvarez did. So that being said, I think he's going to be somebody in the very near future who establishes himself as a top 3 light heavyweight. But you guys out there in YTBC, in the boxing world, let me know. Do you think Artur Beterbiev can be someone who, within the next 2 years, becomes the best light heavyweight in the world? I believe he can become that. But you guys out there, let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.